It's your boy Marcus Jordan, aka Swag. Welcome to the first episode of the Talking Podcast, where we're gonna talk some sports today. We're gonna get into the NBA starting back up. With that being said, let's get right off into this. Over in the East, I think most have the Milwaukee Bucks as the head contenders to come out the East. I tend to agree with that, but I don't think it's as clear cut as some may think just because they got Giannis. You know what I'm saying? He's the reigning MVP, one of the top two candidates for MVP this year. But they haven't won anything. So, you know what I'm saying? I need to see it. I need to see it first. Like, they got a solid team. You know, Chris Middleton. They got both of the Lopez brothers, Eric Bledsoe. But until they can win, like go deep into the playoffs, like, you know what I'm saying, I just can't give them the Eastern Conference like that. So they definitely should be the favorites though, you know, having Giannis, having the best player in the conference. But I think Boston can get them a run for their money. I think Miami can give them a run for their money. Philly, if they ever get they stuff together. There's some tough teams out east, you know what I'm saying, that can compete with them only because Giannis hasn't proven he can win in the playoffs yet. You know what I'm saying? So, and then Chris Middleton, he's a solid two, but is he able to get it done when Giannis ain't got it done? Can he go get 30? Can he go get 40? That has yet to be seen. Me personally, I don't think he can. You know what I'm saying? He kind of remind me of when LeBron was in Cleveland and he had Mo Williams as his second best player. Like, yeah, Mo Williams was good because he was with LeBron, but by himself, he was kind of trash if you ask me. And I put Chris Middleton in that same category. And you know, Eric Bledsoe, he's up and down. He's a solid player when he comes to play, but for the most part, like, you know, he's too inconsistent. So they got a lot of holes. Although they are a great team overall, they're well coached. They play defense, they got size, but you know, when it comes down to the playoffs, your superstars got to be superstars. And to be honest, they only really got one superstar, which is Giannis. Chris Middleton is a 50, 40, 90 guy, but you know, that's numbers on paper, but he disappeared last year in the playoffs against Toronto. So I got to see it. And with home court advantage not being a factor this year, with them being down in the bubble and everybody kind of playing like in the same like gym, the same arena, like without home court, I think they could get knocked off. Although they are the favorite, I don't got them coming out the East, but they should be the favorite because, like I said, the greatness of Giannis, Greek freak. So. Yeah, so let's look into some other teams over here in the East. We're going to go to the defending champs, which is the Toronto Raptors. They're a solid team. Kyle Lowry, you know, whether you like him or not, he's a solid point guard. He's going to play defense. He's going to get you 18 points. He's going to run the offense. Siakam, now it's his time to show us if he's that guy. Last year, he had Kawhi kind of overshadowing him. But he was coming into his own. So this year, we're going to be able to see if he's ready to take that next step. They got a solid team. They got Marc Gasol. They got Ibaka. They got some shooting. So, and they're the champs. They know how to win. They know how to win tough games. They know how to play defense. And again, without the home court advantage, I think they have a great chance of representing the Eastern Conference because they play defense. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, Kyle Lowry is I think he's underrated. Although he makes the All-Star game, I think people don't give him his just due. You know what I'm saying? He's a very solid leader. I like Marc Gasol. I like Serge Ibaka. And then Van Fleet, he could score with the best of them. Like, he could get 30 any given night. So Toronto got a good team, you know, a good, solid, well-rounded team that's going to give Milwaukee some trouble if they face each other in the Eastern Conference. You know, who else? Let's see, Boston. Boston is the sexy pick right now. Everybody they like Boston because of Jason Tatum. He's becoming a star. He's probably one of the top 5 players in the Eastern Conference right now. Like, he's making a name. He's making a name for himself. Jaylen Brown, great two-way player. Marcus Smart, play D. Kemba Walker, dope. Gordon Hayward, he's dope, but he's overrated, but he's dope, you know. And I just think they don't have the size though. Like they kind of remind me of the Houston Rockets of the Eastern Conference. They best lineup is a small lineup, and over East, it's a lot of big teams over East. So will they be able to rebound and defend the rim at a high level in the playoffs? Because we're talking about playing Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Kemba Walker, and Marcus Smart. That's your best lineup. And we're talking about Tatum is the biggest player at 6'8", and he's a finesse guy. So, like, although they will have scoring and it'll be hard to play defense on them, I don't know if they got the size to compete with some of the teams out east. Like I said, I know they're the sexy pick. Brad Stevens is a dope coach. But I believe Enes Kanter, they got him down low. And I believe the other guy name is like Theus or something like that. But that's not enough when you're going against Giannis and Joel Embiid and Sabonis and Mark Gasol. Like, that's not enough. But I trust Brad Stevens. He's going to come up with something. But I don't know. Unless they're scoring at a high clip, I could see them getting knocked off early, to be honest, you know, because of the size. So we'll see. But, you know, Jason Tatum, as I said, he's a dope player. If he could, this might be his coming out. This might be his coming out party this year. Like I said, with the funny settings, with the, you know, short season, with the COVID going on, with all the funny little rules that they're doing now, this could be Jason Tatum's come out party. But I like Jaylen Brown. Boston, like I said, is everybody's sexy pick, but I'm not quite sure if they have the size to be able to compete in the East this year with the losing Al Horford. And speaking of Al Horford, the Philadelphia 76ers, with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, I think they're like a dark horse team. They have a chance to, I believe, like go to the Eastern Conference Finals at least. Moving Ben Simmons to the 4th spot and having Shake at a point, Shake Milton, I think that's going to open up a lot for Joel Embiid down low and even Ben Simmons, because now when he get the ball off the rebound, everybody, he running. You got 3 perimeter players with Joel trailing who can also hit the 3-point shot. So I think that's just going to open up their floor. Then in half court, you let Shake run the point and put Ben at the dunker spot or the Draymond Green spot where he's setting a lot of picks and rolling. So when he get the ball in his hand, he's making plays now or he's finishing at the rim. You know what I'm saying? So I think this move right here might have saved Brett Brown's job, because they got too much talent to steady be getting knocked out the way they be getting knocked out in the playoffs. So this was a dope move. We don't know how it'll work though. On paper it sounds good, putting Ben at the 4. Now you got Al Horford coming off the bench, so now you got more firepower coming off the bench. You got Shake Milton, he plays defense. Josh Richardson plays defense. Ben Simmons plays defense. Joel Embiid, a 7-footer, he's gonna clog up the middle. Tobias Harris, he don't really play defense, but he's 6'8", 6'9"-ish. So they're gonna be. That's like my dark horse team. They're very interesting with Ben Simmons going to the 4th spot. I want to see how that looks. You know what I'm saying? Another team that I think could easily represent the Eastern Conference in the finals is Miami. Man, Jimmy Butler is for real. Like wherever he go, he changed the culture. When he was in Chicago, they was winning. Jimmy was the man under Tibbs. When he went to Philly, he changed the team. He changed the team so much. Joel Embiid was mad when he left. You know, so and now in Miami, didn't nobody come into this season see Miami as a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference for most of the year. Lately, they kind of slid off. I believe they're like maybe the 4th or 5th seed, but it's all kind of like jumbled together or whatever. But they right in the mix though. And with the type of defense they got, the type of shooting they got, the type of players they got with Spoelstra and Pat Riley, man, Miami, and they dominated Milwaukee both times they played them this year. They were one of the only teams that beat Milwaukee twice this year. So they got Bam, who became an all-star this year, Jimmy Butler, who's a clutch player. They got size. They just got a dope team. You know, they gonna play defense. They got shooting. They got young guards. They got, man, they athletic. I like Miami team. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they came out of the East at all. You know, and the last team worth talking about in the East, I must say the Indiana Pacers. Only because Victor Oladipo opted to come back. At first, he was talking about not coming to the bubble. When he opted to come to the bubble, that put Indiana right there in the mix because you got Victor Oladipo with a Sabonis who became an all-star this year, with Miles Turner. And Malcolm Brogdon. That's a scary team, like, because they play defense. You know, I don't know if they got the scoring quite, but they definitely play defense. They got the size, and Victor is explosive. So if he could show a glimpse of the old Victor Oladipo in a short time, then I think Indiana, they could, like, win a series, maybe push somebody in a second round. But they're a tough team. They definitely is a tough team. They well coached by Nick McMillan. And to me, those are the 6 teams worth talking about. You got the other teams such as Orlando, Brooklyn, and Washington. Like, I don't see any of them really like making any type of noise in the first round. They might can win a game. Other than that, I don't really think they're going to be too competitive. Brooklyn, we know they Kyrie and Kevin Durant's not playing, so until they come back, they're going to be irrelevant. So I think Milwaukee is the favorite, but I would not be shocked if Toronto, Miami, or Philadelphia all represent the East. A lot of people like Boston. I'm not that high on the pick only because of the size, but I can see why a lot of people are picking Boston. So let's go over to the Western Conference, where we're gonna jump into the teams that's interesting over in the Western Conference. We got Dallas, Houston, OKC, Utah, Denver, Clippers, Lakers. We all know it's gonna be the Lakers or the Clippers. Like, at the end of the day, it's a 2-team race, but it's some other teams worth talking about. I think Houston with Russ and James Harden, the way that they could score, like, that's a scary matchup for anybody. Me being a LeBron James advocate, I don't want to see Houston in the second round. Like, that's a tough matchup for LA. Them guards getting put on the pick and roll, having to guard Westbrook and James Harden, that's tough. And they shooting the 3 at a high clip. They just scored like 100, like 80-some points at halftime in yesterday's game. So with James and Russ, 2 former MVPs, that's a tough assignment for anybody in the NBA. Mike D'Antoni, he don't care about defense. They just gonna go out there and score. PJ Tucker's their center. But unlike Boston, the only reason why I think Houston is better fit for the small ball is because they built their team to be that way. Like, Mike D'Antoni, whole offense, everything is James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Eric Gordon, Robert Covington, and PJ Tucker. That's who are you helping off of? PJ Tucker's gonna shoot the corner 3. Covington's a good 3-and-D guy. You got Eric Gordon, who's a great offensive player. Then you got Russ and James. Like, you're gonna get cooked, but on the other end, they can't rebound, they can't defend the rim. So it's gonna be a matter of, if they get hot, they can knock somebody off. You know, if that 3 ball is jumping at a high clip, they can easily upset anybody, especially with this COVID type environment where, like, you know, it's a strange season. I wouldn't be surprised if they get hot for a series or two and just hit a bunch of shots. You know, that's Mike D'Antoni's style. So Houston is a scary team. I don't think they can win the West because of their size, but that's a scary team for anybody to match up with. Speaking of Houston, right next door to Houston is Dallas. Dallas is a cute team. They got Luka. He's probably one of the MVP finalists, but they too young. They too soft. First of all, Porzingis, he's a dope player. He's a 7 foot. We call him unicorn, but let's be honest, he's soft. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's not that. So having Luka and Porzingis together, that's tough. That's tough. They both dope. They both dope offensive players though, because they're gonna do Luka in the playoffs the same way teams did Steph Curry. As dope as he was, they sought him out on defense, and that's what they're gonna do to Luka. Like, he's a dope player, but he's young, and he's gonna get scorched on the other end of the court. He plays no defense. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to get worn out. Is he good enough to win you a game? I think he's good enough to win a game. Rick Carlisle, I got much respect for him. He's the NBA champion coach. I think he can figure out how to win them a game. He loves to play like that zone like type stuff. You know, he'll throw some little tricky stuff always in the series. He's a good coach. They have enough talent. They got Tim Hardaway Jr., they got Luka, they got Porzingis, they got Steph little brother. So they got offensive weapons, but their team is just soft. They need like an enforcer, like a Crowder type. You know, they need one of them type of players. But can Luka and Rick Carlisle get a game? Maybe they could push somebody to 6 games. I'm talking about the elite teams, because right now they the 7th seed, 6th seed. They'll face probably the Clippers. Clippers got too many dogs, you know what I'm saying? But like I say, Luka's gonna score the ball, Porzingis gonna score the ball, Rick Carlisle, he's a good enough coach to figure something out. But in the end, I don't think they really built to go far now. Give them a couple years, make a few moves. I like Tim Hardaway Jr. He been hooping lately. Seth been going crazy. He been playing like his brother, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? But you know, with that, Dallas, I think they might get knocked out in the first round. I'd be shocked if they advance past that. Let's see. So who else in the West we want to talk about? I'm gonna skip OKC. I know they having a dope year, and I much respect to Chris Paul, the point guard, but OKC, that ain't really about nothing. They gonna lose first round. They might even get swept, to be honest. But they play tough defense. I like Adams. They getting Roberson back. Like I say, I'm a Chris Paul advocate. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league. But OKC ain't really like, we ain't doing that. Like they ain't finna really make good noise like that. So we gonna skip past that. Let's get into Utah though. Now that's a top to bottom. They got everything you need. They got size. They got the point guard. They got the elite scoring, Donovan Mitchell. They got the coaching. They got the depth. They got the shooting with Bogdanovich from Indiana. They got Mike Conley. They got the former defensive player of the year. They are like, it's just something about Utah, like, you know, I think their advantage would have been their home court, to be honest. Them playing in this type of environment, I think it might hurt them because it's tough to win in Utah. You know, let's just be honest. Them fans was tough. And that was just a tough place. People didn't like going up there playing. So I think they probably suffered the most with playing in this type of environment. I think they're going to lose the home court advantage part, but on paper, they backcourt is tough. Mike Conley, he's going to get you 18 and 12. Donovan Mitchell, he could go off at any time. He could get you a bucket. You could get him the ball with the last 2 minutes of the game and say, we need a bucket. And you could ride him home. Gobert, he's going to play defense. He's the enforcer. You know, they got the shooting with Bogdanovich. They tough. They well coached. That's a bad matchup for some people. It's going to depend on who they match up with to see how far they're gonna go. Do I trust them? They got nice, solid players, but let's be honest. In a playoff, superstar win the games. What Donovan Mitchell? I like him. I rocks with him, but I'm not picking Donovan Mitchell over Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, James Harden, Dame Lillard, none of them. I mean, that's just what it is. So even though they got a good makeup of a team, at the end of the day, I don't know if they got enough to make a deep enough run. They're a nice, solid team. They kind of remind me of like that Pistons team that won. Like they just had like a collection of nice, solid players. Real solid offensive players, real solid defensive players. Of course, the Pistons was way better defensive team, but just kind of like in that mindset of like no real superstar, but they had a bunch of stars. You know what I'm saying? Denver, they fraudulent. I know they always have a good record every year. Playing in the Mile High, I get all that, but I'm not buying that. They don't got Joker. He's overrated. Like a lot of people, like he lost a lot of weight. With him losing that weight, that's gonna hurt him because his whole thing was when he got you on his back, you was dead. It was barbecue chicken. It's 2 points. He too big. He too wide. But with him losing all that weight, the bigs are going to be able to play with him down there. You know what I'm saying? Pause. They're going to be able to play some good defense on him because he probably like my size. And Jamal Murray, I like Jamal Murray. He's a good scorer, but we're not doing that. Like Jamal Murray's not that player. He's not that. Like they got a good collection of talent. Porter, Michael Porter Jr., Paul Millsap. They got some guys, but I'm not sold on them. Could they win a series or two? Maybe, but I don't want to see them in the Western Conference Final. It's boring. I don't think they must see TV. I think they're going to be hindered by this type of setup too, with losing their home court because everybody knowing the Mile High with the air is thin and all of that, and teams don't like going there to play, whatever. But I'm not really sold on the Denver Nuggets, and so let's just go and get down to it. It's really the Clippers or the Lakers. That's just what it is, you know what I'm saying? And it's really a preference thing. Like, at the end of the day, I'm an advocate for LeBron. I'm a fan of LeBron, so I'm going to go with the Lakers. But the Clippers got just as much. I think the Clippers got a better team than the Lakers, like top to bottom. They got the more depth. They got better coaching, because without Popovich in the playoffs, Doc Rivers is going to be the best coach in the playoffs. Top to bottom, they got the most talent. We talking about Paul, Kawhi, Pat Bev, Lou Williams, Montrezl. I mean, you guys know the lineup. They just got depth and they dogs, but they don't got the king. That's what it's gonna boil down to, people. 6'8", 265. From Akron, Ohio. That's what it's going to boil down to at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? If he can work his magic like he did against the Golden State Warriors but this Laker team I ain't going to say they was better than that Cavs team. Anthony Davis is like a great help, but losing Avery Bradley is going to be tough because he plays defense. But I like what Dion Waiters been doing. Dion Waiters been looking real nice. Philly cheese, I see you. He been looking real spicy out there. AD is AD. That's what's going to kill the Clippers, because we know LeBron, Kawhi, and Paul George, they got bodies to throw at LeBron. They can put the Morris twin on them. They can put Kawhi on them. They going to put Paul George on them. They can put, they got another guy, I believe his name like Green or something like that. But they got like 4 to 5 multiple wing players that could get LeBron looks and wear him down. So I don't look for LeBron to dominate the Clippers series, to be honest. I think Anthony Davis is going to be the person to dominate that series because he has the advantage. I don't think nobody on the Clippers, I'm picking both of these teams to go to the Western Conference Finals. I'm picking it to be a 6-7 game series. And I believe Anthony Davis he has the possibility to dominate this series if he's aggressive because they don't have bigs. They got people who's tough, but at the end of the day, this is a 7-footer who could face up, who could bag you down, who could dunk on you, who could shoot threes, who could handle the ball. He could do everything. He's Kevin Garnett on steroids. So it's like, and then let's just be honest, man. Bron, he's gonna struggle because the Clippers, you know, they got great wing defenders, but when they need him, he's gonna make a play. Just like the other day, he struggled the entire game. The last 2-3 minutes of the game, he turned up, playing defense, hitting the game with a shot on his own putback. Kawhi Leonard's dope defender. Paul George's dope defender. Doc is a dope coach. But I don't think at the end of the day that the Clippers will be able to knock the Lakers off. And like I said, it's a preface thing. It's people out there that, you know, they take the depth and the grit of the Clippers team over the 2-star players. And that's what it's basically about. It's like, do you think LeBron and AD can be 8 good players? Like, well, you know, Kawhi is great. Paul George is almost great. And then you got like a bunch of solid players. And the Lakers got 2 superstars and role players. That's just what it is. Kyle Kuzma, he's been stepping up big time. He's been hooping. But like I say, at the end of the day, man, they got LeBron and the Clippers don't. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm making my decision. So I'm thinking it's gonna be Lakers. I would like to see the Lakers in Milwaukee in the finals, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say LA and Miami maybe in the finals. And yeah, I'll go out there and say that. So with that being said, thank you for tuning in to the first episode of the Talking Podcast. Make sure you guys add us on the YouTube, on the Talking Podcast, and also if you're not in the Facebook group, join us on the Facebook group, Talking Podcast. Till next time.